Lawin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawin Media Network.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of season 7 of Be Bold, Why Not? This platform brings you stories of courage, passion, and purpose. And we are brought to you live by Lawin Media Network, and you are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, stream.lawin.live, and twitch.tv. And if you miss our live show, you can listen to our podcasts on a Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast, and a lot more. So before we get to our guest tonight, again, I would like to say magandang umaga po to all our viewers from the Philippines. Thank you so much for always watching our show. And again, as we always do in our Be Bold, Why Not? We have a game. And let's show them the mechanics of the game.
How to join the game. Watch the live show and join the conversation. Share your thoughts or experiences by commenting during the show. Like, share, and tag at least 3 friends in the comment section to qualify for a chance to win a prize. Participate actively. The more comments you leave, the higher your chances of winning. All participants will be eligible for the prize. The winner will be selected using the Wheel of Names randomizer.
There you go. And before we get to our guest, I would like to greet everybody again. I know it's past Thanksgiving, but I just would like to say belated happy Thanksgiving. And it's December 1st. Yes, we are in the holiday cheers. So it's Christmas season, and this is the most wonderful time of the year, the joyous time of the year. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I know it's the busiest time of the year as well, but also this season, we just have to remember our Savior, our Lord Jesus Christ, who had brought us to this world and who had redeemed us from all our sins. So it's the most celebrated and happiest time of the year. So advance Merry Christmas to everyone. And so tonight, I am just so privileged to have a person whom honestly I have not even met in person, but she is so kind enough to give us her time and to share her story to us to inspire all of us. And just to give you a little bit of background about our guest, her name is Elena Sarango-Muniz, and she is a bilingual executive and leadership coach who helps senior leaders lead with cultural fluency and authentic impact. With 25 plus years in global HR leadership at Aspen Tech, Lloyd's Register, and Citgo, she brings a rare blend of corporate rigor, cross cultural insight, and emotional intelligence depth to her coaching. Wow. Elena is known for helping high performing leaders navigate moments that define careers, stepping into expanded roles, building trust across borders, or confronting internal blockers like imposter syndrome. Wow, we're going to talk about that. Sometimes I have that too. Her approach is both intuitive and grounded. She creates a space of deep trust while bringing challenge and clarity that drives meaningful, lasting change. certified in EQI 2.0 or 2.0 and cultural orientations framework. Elena works at the intersection of emotional agility and cultural intelligence, and leaders walk away with stronger presence, sharper self awareness, and the confidence to lead in complexity, especially when the stakes are high and the environment is diverse. Wow, I am so blessed and privileged to have our special guest for tonight, Miss Elena Sarango-Muniz. Let's get her in. There she
Hello.
is. Hi,
Hello, MJ. What an introduction. Thank you so much for having me here and happy holidays.
happy holidays too, and the pleasure is mine. We are so blessed to have you on the show, and I know you have tons of experience and you have the expertise to help people like us, not just leaders, right? Because all these experiences that you'll share with us will help our viewers get through difficulties in life. Because I know life is a journey. I actually have a patient who said that life is not a problem to solve, but it is a journey to enjoy, right? So I know that's a very profound saying. And mind you, this patient even has a cancer. So it's so powerful when you hear those things. But let's talk about you tonight. Let's talk about you tonight. We want to learn about you first. Like, where you from? And tell us about your family, your roots, and which country you're from. Because I'm so happy. I have like different, guests from all parts of the world here. So give us the pleasure of knowing you.
Thank you, MJ. Yes, so I am originally from Lima, Peru,
Mm-hmm.
and I come from a large family of 7 children. It's
Mm-hmm.
a blended family. So I am the last of the seven. So you can imagine, the little one of the seven.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of family dynamics influence who I
Mm-hmm.
am today. But
Mm-hmm.
as my siblings show me the way to actually move up in their career and progress in their lives, they all left the country at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was a no brainer that I had to leave Peru at some
Mm-hmm.
point in my life. So I finished my business degree in Lima, Peru, at the University of Lima.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find a job after I graduated. At that time in my country, as I'm sure many other countries, it's a third world country. We had terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
The economics were really bad at that time. I didn't agree with the president. And as many of the young, recent graduates like me, I left and came to Houston, Texas to
Mm-hmm.
pursue my master's degree in hotel and restaurant management.
Okay.
I love to travel. I love hotels. So I said, okay, let me get my degree so I can further um, understand better this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got my master's, I started working at a luxury hotel here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working in the overnight shift from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then I will go to school to study, take a
Mm-hmm.
quick nap, and then go back to work. And that was my life for about a year.
Wow, that's hard work. And you know what? You have just mentioned some commonalities. We're from the Philippines, right? So I'm from the Philippines, which is the same thing, a third world country considered. There's so many chaos politically, economically. I mean, it's the same thing. So we come from some similar backgrounds when it comes to culture. So that's why we're here too. I should say there are a lot of Filipinos abroad, just like, yeah. So as a new person here in the United States or in Houston, Texas, what challenges did you encounter? Because I know it's different. It's the opportunity is here, but other than language and cultural differences and all that, what has been your journey in the beginning coming
Mm.
to a foreign country?
Yes, yes. So I forgot to mention that when I left Peru, my dad was not very happy that I was leaving the family because now they were staying without any children, right? I was the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sent me with $100. And that's all I had. So when I arrived, I had to face the fact that I needed to make money to survive and get an apartment and get a car. First, I was riding the city bus, going to school in the bus. But then I was able to buy a very old car without air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first things that I had to face were to actually find a job. And I couldn't find a job because my English was not good. And
Mm-hmm.
the work permit that I had was for a student. So you could only work a certain amount of hours. But through
Mm-hmm.
the school, I was able to find a job. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and maybe your audience will relate to this, the biggest challenge that I had to overcome was my own limitations in my mind. Who am
Yeah.
I?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Somebody that is not from the US. Who am I? Somebody that doesn't even speak the language correctly
Mm-hmm.
to be able to find a job and to be able to succeed, because that was my dream, was the American dream, right? To be a
Yes.
successful
Mm-hmm.
executive. That was my dream, to be an executive at an American company. But
Mm-hmm.
all those limitations in my own mind, the conversations that I was having, that inner chatter that was driving me crazy, were keeping me small. And that was
Mm-hmm.
probably the biggest challenge I had to face for many years.
Wow. Now, let me follow that, that thought with my, how did you overcome that? Because you're right. We put so much limitation on ourselves. Like we have those negative self talks that will stop us from actually becoming the person that God has created us to be. That we all have a calling, we all have a purpose in this world, but because of those negative self talks, we stop those things, we stop those desires. How did you overcome those? Because that's hard. That is a hard hurdle to overcome, but you did it, and look at you now. So tell us, we want to know how did Elena get out of that negative self-talk and limiting beliefs?
Yes.
Yeah.
It took a while. It took a while for me to realize that that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the biggest wake up call for me were actually difficult situations that I had to go through. It is
Mm-hmm.
when I really fell down deep, deep in the hole,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no other way but to get up and crawl out. That, and I tell this to my clients actually, that each step, each climbing brought me confidence. Oh, I can do that. Oh, wow,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to
Mm-hmm.
speak up. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
recovered. I didn't die from this.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I am actually better than what I thought. I was able to take this next step into my career, or this next step into a relationship, whatever was happening at that moment. So I would say it is those
Little
road,
step.
but it is those bumps on the road, to use the typical phrase, that
Mm-hmm.
actually build that resilience in you and that
Mm-hmm.
confidence in you, that
Mm-hmm.
you start the self discovery journey, that is such a beautiful step into becoming, the person that you're meant to be in your life. And from there, it's unstoppable. I mean, I was unstoppable from the moment I started discovering who I was and what I could do, what I was capable of doing. And I would
Mhm.
also say that it was very important for me to connect with people
Mhm.
and with communities that also were supporting that growth, right? So, but I
Mhm.
believe that the universe puts people in your journey, in your on your path to actually help you
Yeah.
get stronger and stronger. So bosses, friends, relationships, um, sponsors at work, co-workers, anything that even strangers help me gain that confidence, MJ, that I have now. Now it's more about I do this
Yeah.
for my clients. So now it's more about learning with my clients.
Yes, because before we can actually impart something, it is more powerful, it's more effective if we had gone through them first, right? So anyway, you know what? It's just the beginning of the show, and we already are learning so much from you. Now we gotta go on our first break. so
Okay.
so when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Elena. So see you after a little bit.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories. From elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits, I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create magic together.
All right, we're back. And oh my God, I already learned so much from you. Now I gotta really believe in myself because, I still do that too. I just limit myself. Like, I tell my I can't do this. Those people that I see, I look up to, and they're doing so well. I think that's one thing that's a no is to compare ourselves with others, right? That's one thing that stop us from actually becoming the person that we are meant to be. But anyhow, before we talk about that, like the comparison syndrome, I know you're probably very, very well versed in this too. But before we talk about that, let's read some of the comments from our viewers. So let me see here. We have Daisel Miral Siaton. Hello, Ma'am MJ. Good evening, watching from Pangasinan. So Elena, Pangasinan is a part of the Philippines. So one town in the Philippines. Also from Recto Julius. Oh, there she is. Good evening, Ma'am MJ, watching from Pangasinan. And we also have, oh, hi, Dr. Jasmine. She's
Here.
watching. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jasmine. Hi. Hi to you.
Hello,
Thank you
Dr.
for connecting
Jasmine.
us. Now I have another friend, Elena. Anyway, we have Daisel Miral Siaton or Julia Reyes. Good morning, Ma'am MJ and Ma'am Elena Sarango. Watching from Bugalon, Pangasinan. We also have Krisha. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Looking forward to today's episode. Yes, I just love it. And then we have Jadil Fred Fronda. Good morning, Ma'am MJ and Ma'am Elena Sarango-Muniz, watching from Bugalon, Pangasinan. And we have Lisa Requilman Ungria. Good evening, Texas. Hello, Ma'am MJ and Ma'am Elena, watching from Dagupan City. God bless your show. God bless you as well. We also have Francisco Jasmine Ungria. Good evening, Texas. Hello, Ma'am MJ and Ma'am Elena, watching from Pangasinan. God bless your show. Advance Merry Christmas po. Yes, advance Merry Christmas to you as well. And then Krisha De Vera has a question, I think. Since you left Peru, did you ever think of coming back home? I think,
Krisha,
yeah.
great question. I have never looked back. No, ma'am. When I made that decision. I knew that it was a decision that it was going to last forever. Obviously, you always have to be prepared, but I do go back to visit my family very
Mhm.
often. So I don't miss much because I go. What I do miss is the food. I love my Peruvian food, but there are good restaurants in Houston that I can go to and eat.
Yes, I know. And Houston is actually one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse city in the whole USA, right? So
True.
you can find all kinds of cuisine and all from all different cultures. Yeah, I just love it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, I think we have all those limiting beliefs and we don't really acknowledge the talents that we have because sometimes we tend to compare ourselves with others. You know, people say, or the experts or the gurus say, that the only comparison you should do is yourself. Do not compare yourself with others, but your standard should be yourself. Now, what can you say about that, Elena? I just would like to get your thoughts on that.
Yes, MJ, especially women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are taught since we are little that we have to be kind, we have to be quiet, we have to be respectful. Boys are taught completely the opposite of that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why there's, still men show a little bit of what we call imposter syndrome. That's what that is. But it's
Mm-hmm.
most prevalent in women.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because we want to keep the peace. We want to make sure that the the relationship stays intact. There's no confrontation. So we convince ourselves that being quiet, staying quiet, and not saying what we need to say, what we're thinking, what we're feeling is the right thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so we tend to shrink rather
Mm-hmm.
than to expand. But it
Mm-hmm.
is when we find that voice, when we find that confidence, that actually saying what we want to say in a respectful way, it reinforces, it makes the relationship. I'm talking about not just with a partner, I'm talking about
Yes.
work, for example, or
Yes.
with clients. When you show powerfully to any scenario, it
Mm-hmm.
is you're more respected that way. And to me, that was my secret, really, was to really get my voice from inside out and
Mm-hmm.
really live authentically. As I
Mm-hmm.
was discovering who I was, that I started to get more confidence in my career, in my personal life. And I would say, even when I had my child, right, when you become a mother, and it also brings that um, power to defend your cub, and so I think a lot of that had to do with becoming a mother too. But it is a journey for sure, and it takes practice, and
Yeah.
becoming more aware of who you are and what you can offer to the world.
Yes. And I think the first step really is becoming aware. I love that when you say becoming aware, because I think when we actually are aware of who we truly are and we accept who we are, then that's the beginning, or that's the moment where when we accept and we are aware of our flaws, of our weaknesses, of our strengths, then we are ready to go to the next step. Or when we become aware of our weaknesses, we acknowledge that we're not perfect. And then when we acknowledge that, we are willing to do what's next to improve and to become better.
Ex-
So now awareness is very important, because I think what's happening is sometimes when we pretend, or we tend to look okay even if we're not okay, we stop our growth, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So you coach clients, you coach people. So when you have clients like those, how do you get them out of that zone, or how do you get them to accept who they really are and to become aware of the special things that they have, of the things that they can do? How do you get them out of that? Oh my God, I'm learning so much.
Angel, the way I explain, so coaching is very different from mentoring or
Mhm,
being even a counselor or anything like that. With coaching, what I do is with my clients is I really put a mirror in front of you.
mhm.
And what I not literally, but really
Yes.
what I do is I make you see yourself from a different perspective. And how do I do that? By just asking questions and going deeper. Imagine like an onion that you are peeling.
Mhm,
With
mhm,
each question, you peel a layer, you peel a layer, and then you, the client, realize, oh my, you're right. I have that in me, or I was able to overcome that in that situation in the past, or yes, I do see myself as somebody that could do that in the future. So, what you do is really help them realize that they can reprogram the way they think about themselves just
mhm,
by changing their thoughts. Because
mhm,
it all starts in our thinking. The thoughts that we entertain in our minds is what's really keeping us down. But when we
mhm,
start changing our thoughts, our emotions start changing. So, from small, from disappointed, from frustrated, from scared, we start seeing other realities, possibilities, and you start becoming more hopeful, more curious, more awake.
mhm,
And when you change those emotions within you, then you start behaving differently. And when you behave differently, you obtain different results. You see,
mhm,
when we most of our lives we behave in a way that is in autopilot, right? We are just set in our ways. We cannot change. There is no possibility for me to be somebody different. But when we realize that we actually can change, and it's not really changing, it's really pulling from the inside who you truly are,
mhm.
um, your world starts changing, and that's what happened to me.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, that's really beautiful. It's because it's a process. It's a process. As you said, it's like the onion that you keep peeling. It's not an overnight thing that, boom, you're different.
No.
No, it's a process. And I've heard this so much. Every progress is progress, right?
Yeah.
No matter how small that step and that progress that you have, you are actually becoming the person that you are. So with your clients, when you are able to actually unfold, wow, I'm learning, really, I'm so you are influencing me very positively when you are beginning to unfold their true selves and their potentials and unleashing that power through your technique. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh, that's that's exactly why I do what I do, right? I've worked for corporate for more than 25 years with leaders, people from all over the world. But it's not until I discovered the power of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I do it with leaders because at the top there's more influence to change the entire organization, right? So I want to grab it from the top so it can
Mm-hmm.
it can trickle down.
Trickles down, yes.
Yeah, yeah, I call it a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
Um it's just beautiful to see how people start becoming more confident and they start speaking differently. The
Mm-hmm.
words they use are more positive, are more kind, not only to others but to themselves. and they're more calm because I teach people that being calm, finding pause before you respond helps you not to react, but to actually
Yes.
respond to the situation, right? So
Mhm.
it's just beautiful how the person transforms. And you said earlier something very real. You
Mhm.
have to go through the transformation yourself to
Mhm.
be able to really help others do that. So I went through that transformation, as I mentioned to you, through several iterations.
Mhm.
Um, and now I get the gift to do this with people every day.
Wow, wow. Oh my gosh. I'm just so blessed to have you on the show tonight. I'm learning so much. And we already are on our second break. So it's getting so interesting. It's becoming more, I mean, like profound, whatever we're talking about. And I bet you that all our viewers are learning. So, again, after our second break, we will come back. Okay, see you after a little bit.
Join us for a captivating new series where Lawin sits down with the trailblazers of the music and entertainment world. Discover the stories behind the faces and voices that shape our culture and community.
We will bring you exclusive interviews with industry legends and rising stars. Behind the scenes insights and get a peek into the creative processes and personal journeys. Artists and performers and their upcoming shows and events.
Stay tuned for more updates and sneak peeks. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel.
All right, we're back. And let's read some more of the comments from our viewers. We have Gloria. Hello, good evening, Texas. Watching from Singapore. God bless. Wow, thank you, Gloria, for watching us. And then we have Krisha. What was the light bulb moment for you which made you start coaching? Experience or someone's influence? So I think we'll get to that when we read the rest of the comments. And then we have Arari Kilman Ungria. They're just tagging their friends. Thank you so much for tagging them. And then we have, I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, Alvin Reyes. Good evening, Texas. Hello, Mom MJ and Mom Elena, watching from Dagupan City. God bless your show. Thank you. And God bless you as well. So, yes, Elena, why do you answer Krisha's question? What was that light bulb moment for you which made you start coaching? Is it your experience or someone's influence?
I did not, thank you, Krisha, for that question. I didn't know what coaching was until I met my new boss in this new job. She's become a good friend of mine. She's in London, and she
Mm-hmm.
just had something very special about her. She was very calm. She was very sweet. She would ask me questions rather than telling me things. So I asked her, I said, why are you so different from other bosses I've had before? And
Mm-hmm.
she said, maybe it's because I'm a coach. So that's the first time I learned that there was actually a coaching profession.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw it in me, and she said, Elena, do you want to be a coach? And that's when I went through the certification. I'm talking about 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got certified, I started using coaching in every conversation I had with every single leader that I was supporting back then in that company. And I could see how different the impact that was having on those leaders, to the point that people would tell me, even in other jobs, Elena, you're not a typical human resources leader. You are very different from any typical HR. And
Mm-hmm.
I attribute it to my coaching skills.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, other than, of course, our personal experiences make us better coaches because with experience, we actually have more impact, we have more power. Actually, I listened to this podcaster. His name is Ed Milet. And this
Yeah,
is what he says. Do you know him? Yeah,
I
listen.
know.
He
I
says that,
listen to him.
yes, you help the person that you used to be. Because
Yes.
whatever experiences that we have gone through, we can help someone who might be going through. And if we share how we overcame that situation that they're going through. Then we are helping them. So we actually help the person we used to be. Now, let me ask you, other than your life experiences and everything, can you mention some of the gurus or expert in the personal growth and development or coaching realm that you actually look up to? And can you share to us what you learn or what you really like from them or what you get from their style?
Yes. So there was a writer that I used to follow, but his name is not coming to me right now, so I'm going to skip the writer. But I used to read all his books.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a coach that actually I just had the pleasure to interview myself for the coaching chapter here in Houston, and his name is Rich Lidvin, and he's a very famous coach, and he's just amazing. The way he coaches is just with courage and passion and power. So I follow him, but I also, and I should mention this to your audience, is that a lot of the things that we have talked about
Mm-hmm.
developed in me also because I was developing my spiritual skills. I was developing who I was as a person spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And, regardless of the religion you belong to or that you follow, your spirit, your soul also evolves and you get to know it better as well. So I follow a lot of spiritual guides that are alive, so such
Mm-hmm.
as Dr. Joe Dispenza. I
Mm-hmm.
follow Jay Shetty. I listen to
Mm-hmm.
him.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mel Robbins. I love her. I love her podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
there are several people I'm addicted to podcasts. So I listen a lot of podcasts to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love listening to personal growth and development too. In fact, I don't know if you've heard about this Growth Day app, Brendan Bouchard, Live Live Matter.
I've
Yes.
heard about it. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, and MJ, I remember. Oh no, now the name is gone again. The author. It
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
was.
like I listen to those like Jay Shetty. I'm not very regular in listening to this podcast, but I do try, like especially Brendan Bouchard, because I have his app, and in his app he also has a lot of other coaches that also have their segments, and I listen to those like Ed Milet. I love listening to him. He's very motivational. I mean, I think he's one of the best motivational speakers out there. And as I've mentioned, I've also been certified with John Maxwell, Les Brown, so do you also, other than listening to podcasts, and I know you love reading books because we can see a lot of books in the background. So do you attend like these conventions or conferences on personal growth and development? Can you share
I
us your experience in this and which one have you attended?
Yes, I do attend virtual ones.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I can get a hold of that is virtual, such as Tony Robbins virtual
Uh-huh.
events,
Mhm.
I do. Um, Dr. Joe Dispenza also has virtual events that I attend to. I do a lot of meditation events. There's a meditation group that we get together here in Houston, so I go and do the events with them. Um, and yeah, those are some, and any conference where there is somebody that I respect, that like Brene Brown, for example. She's a
Mhm.
Houstonian, right? So I went to see her at University of Houston when she talked there a couple of years ago. So I'm always trying to um, learn and develop from those people that have been there, that know how to really share their wisdom with us, so
Mhm.
hopefully I can share that wisdom with my clients.
Okay. So now let's talk about leadership because I know you work a lot more with leaders. So can you share to us what you think are the most, well, it's different for everybody, I guess, but for you, what do you think are the most important qualities a leader should have for a company to actually flourish, and not just financially? Because I know financial strength is important for companies, but in the human resources realm or aspect, what are the most important thing for you that leaders should have?
Yeah, great question, MJ. After 25 years of HR leadership working for literally leaders from all over the world, I can with certainty tell you that the
Mm-hmm.
most important skill that a leader can have, especially as they move up in the organization, is emotional intelligence. The ability to understand, to name, and to manage their emotions, even
Mm-hmm.
when the stakes are high. Even more importantly, when the situation is a difficult one.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of the leaders that get promoted in organizations are promoted because of their technical skills, how much
Yes.
they know, how many degrees they have. IQ or cognitive intelligence will take you there, right? Get you
Mm-hmm.
into a good college, get you into maybe your awesome first job, even maybe your first promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But IQ, a lot of people don't know, IQ peaks at age 17,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you can still develop your IQ, but the peak is reached at age 17.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is something that you can continue developing until the last day of your life. And so those leaders that are able to understand, to listen, to guide, to develop their teams are those that actually are emotional intelligent. They have that empathy, they have that self-awareness, to
Mm-hmm.
where they realize that as they go up, it's not about them. It's now
Yeah.
about those that are coming up after them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I really like, working with these leaders to help them realize that, okay, now your role is not to produce, to do. Now it's to influence positively to the organization, is to inspire, it's to
Mm-hmm.
develop. And
Mm-hmm.
that's emotional intelligence.
Wow. And yes, and they say, well, if when you are a leader, you have to have that, not necessarily a gap, but there should be a professional distance, right? But at the same time, you have to be connected with your people.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how do you teach leaders to have that professional distance, being the boss, like hierarchy wise, you're the boss, but also at the same time to keep that connection so you keep that positive influence with your subordinates? How do you teach them to do that?
I love that question, MJ. That's a wonderful question.
Mm-hmm.
You create connection with people through being curious about them, through
Mm-hmm.
really listening, but really listening to understand, not to just answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so when an employee comes to a meeting, a big meeting, and the big boss is talking, and they say, okay, any questions, and somebody raises their hand, that boss should actually be very glad and interested in answering that question. And in private, it's more about walking down the hallways of the company, having lunch in the cafeteria with everyone else, and asking MJ, how was Thanksgiving in your house? Did you cook? You don't have to become friends. You don't need to be invited to the Thanksgiving dinner. You just
Mm-hmm.
need to be curious and be interested in who they are. And when
Wow.
you show that interest, that's empathy.
Yes.
But leaders can't do that unless they show that interest and empathy in themselves. So that's why
Yeah.
self awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. When you're able to do that to yourself, with yourself, then you can do it with others.
Wow. Because, they say you cannot give what you don't have. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so if you don't have that curiosity about, and you, if you don't acknowledge your own thoughts and feelings, and you're not aware of your own thoughts and feelings, you won't be curious about how other people feel, and you just keep just operating out of your, like a robot, and without even thinking, without that emotion. So, oh my god, I'm so excited. It is so I, I'm just learning so much from you, and I kid you not, this episode is just so powerful that I'm learning so much. I feel like I'm getting a free coaching here. Y'all. Anyway, it's time just flies. So we are on our last break, and when we come back, we will continue talking to Elena, who's been sharing a lot of wonderful thoughts. And thank you so much for having. I mean, for uh, our invitation, accepting it. I'm just so privileged to have you on the show. But when we come back, we will continue chatting with you. So let's go on our last break and see you after a while.
For divorce and family law in Texas, Liggett Dizon Law Firm PC will guide you every step of the way.
From initial consultation to detailed review of your case and strategic planning.
We'll sit with you during negotiations or mediations, and represent you in court.
Whether it is a family law, estate planning, or immigration, we will be there to guide through the final steps.
So, leave your legal matters behind you and embrace your future.
You can contact Liggett Dizon Law Firm PC at 346-5454-346 or visit DizonLawFirm.com.
All right, we're back. We're back. And we have some more comments from Jingle Romero. Good evening, Ma'am MJ, Ma'am Elena Sarango-Muniz, watching from Pozorubio, Pangasinan. And we have Joanna Baterina. Good evening po, Ma'am MJ, watching from Pangasinan. Thank you very much. We have Marlene Aseo. Hi, Teacher Marlene from Northern Luzon, Philippines. College student of Dr. Nils Santos Henson. Dr. Nils, hello there. She was one of my guests previously. And then we have Joanna Baterina. Good evening, Texas, watching from Pangasinan. And we have Densho Estarija. Good evening, Texas. Mom MJ, Mom Elena, watching from Tarlac. And we have Jenthan Abarabar. Hello po, Mom MJ and Elena. Wow, thank you very much. Wow, Elena, I am just learning so much. Thank you, thank you.
No,
And
thank
so
you.
let's show them. So talk us about your coaching business, because I don't want to fail to show your, there you are. So talk us about it, and when did you start doing this?
My business started 2.5 years ago. I made the decision, as I usually do when I make a decision, it's cold turkey. I finished my corporate career and I jumped into what I call an empty pool. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just wanted to do coaching full time, all the time, with the clients that I could choose and the decisions that I could make. So 2.5 years ago, I started my coaching business, and it's been growing. It's been a learning experience. Everybody says that when you start your business, it's really about getting to know yourself better. And this has been a personal journey of discovery for sure.
Wow, congratulations. I know it's hard, but let me ask you, because a lot of people try to start something and they feel good about it in the beginning, because when you are starting something and you're accomplishing something in the beginning, you feel good, but then it dies down. So we start the process and then we don't continue on. We don't follow through. So what's to you between starting and how important it is to have the final destination in everything that we do? Because I mean, I'm like that. I've tried so many things, as I've mentioned earlier to you. It seems like it has become an expensive hobby for me to go to those certification events and all that, and I know I'm capable of, but I have so many limitations to myself. Like, oh, I have a full-time job. I can't do this. I cannot be as good as Brendan Bouchard, or I cannot be like Ed Milet. I cannot be like, how important it is to see you through, no matter how small those accomplishments are.
MJ, what you just said is so important because as you're listening to yourself and you're realizing that you're limiting your potential, right? You could be the next Milet, you could be the next Burchard, you could be the next anybody that you want, but
Mm-hmm.
it's safer for us to go back to what we know,
Yes.
to what we're familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
because we really, as human beings, we're scared of the unknown, of the
Yes.
uncertainty of what the future holds. In
Mm-hmm.
my case, I had it very clear, and this comes from the moment I left my country, right? I'm not going back.
Mm-hmm.
If I start this is it. um, and when I left corporate, of course, I had saved some money because
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was not going to be easy. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was. But I knew that it was not going to be easy because after 25 years in corporate, in the HR role with a huge network, I thought people were going to be knocking on my door and saying, okay, I want to work with you. It happened maybe in the first months. My first clients were people, thank you if you're listening, that hire me at the beginning, but then crickets. And that's when
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that, business is not just about what you love to do. There's a side of the business that you need to do, which is marketing, sales,
Mm-hmm.
accounting, and all that, right? And social media nowadays, which I don't like using social media, but I had to learn all that. But
Mm-hmm.
what kept me going, because as you might know, most of your audience might know that most businesses fail, so
Mm-hmm.
they close them before the second year is over, right? So
Mm-hmm.
around the 1 year and a half, max 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I passed that line, and
Yes.
that's because I have what you said very clear at the beginning is what's my vision, a very
Mm-hmm.
compelling one,
Mm-hmm.
and there is no distraction. I'm going there and I have the confidence that I can get there. And
Mm-hmm.
once you have that confidence, you start attracting things, start showing up, clients start showing, people that you know. Dr. Jasmine introduced me to MJ, and
Yeah.
MJ. So it things start happening like that, that you're like, oh wow, this is how things work. And in this business of coaching, it's about how many people you meet, how many people get to know you, how many people trust you. So you have to get out there, right? So I love getting out there. I love meeting new people, and that's why I've been able to continue this business.
That's awesome. So, of course, it's important. You have, okay, you do everything now. You learn marketing, you learn ways to get to know people, to get clientele, you do speaking engagements and all that. But do you also collaborate with like people, organizations, and all those things?
Yes, I do. That's very important. You have to gain support from others that maybe are a little bit more advanced than you, or overlap somehow in the business that you're doing. So I've collaborated with other coaches. I've been referred by other coaches to a company that needed somebody bilingual in Spanish, and they were not. So referrals and collaboration is very important when it comes to doing business. Absolutely.
That's awesome. So my other question is, because I know we're in Be Bold, Why Not? And you probably have had so many bold steps that you have done in your life. But name three of the boldest actions that you have to take to get to where you are now.
Well, I would say the biggest one. Okay, let me. I would say my imposter syndrome got shattered, so it got dissolved the moment I decided to speak with my boss and tell her that I deserved a promotion and a salary increase because we were about to go into a merger and acquisition situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that took a lot of boldness from my part. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that moment when she looked at me and she said, okay.
Yes.
That's when I really got that confidence. It got exponentially higher.
Mm-hmm.
um, the second boldest moment was when I quit my job and started my business. And I told my husband, I'm starting my business. I didn't ask him for permission or anything. I'm quitting. I'm starting my business, and he just had to say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was the second, I would say. And the third one would be when I increased my price, my highest
Mm-hmm.
ticket
Yeah.
offer, um, to a to an amount that I never thought I would ask for, but it came out of my mouth very naturally, and the client said, "Okay, how do I pay you?" So I think it's been a gradual confidence that you start
Mm-hmm.
getting, and then you become bolder and bolder with respect, obviously, and always following that vision, ethical standards. I have to follow a lot of ethical standards from the coaching business, but just being respectful. And at the
Mm-hmm.
end, when you create a business, is to help others, is to give, a product or a service that others can enjoy and can benefit from. And that's what we need to keep in mind. That in my case, selling was awkward for me at the beginning. Now I say selling is service. Selling is service, and somebody needs my service. So why am I going to keep them away from the gift that I can give them of transformation?
Wow. That alone, I learned a lot because I do. I don't know what I don't like selling, and that's why I think that's what's actually keeping me from flourishing in the businesses that I've tried to do, because I don't want people to think that I want their money or I'm selling something. But the reality is, you're right, it's a service. Because if you don't share what you have that can actually help that person, it's a disservice, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
It
So
is.
selling is service. Who I love that. Now I It's very true because you are actually adding value to the other person.
Yeah.
A value, sometimes value that money cannot even buy. We cannot discount the impact of that value, of that lesson, of that thought, of that idea, of the experience that you have shared. So
Hmm.
I applaud you for doing those three bold steps. Because as Ed Milet says, it's the power of one more, right? The power
Yes.
of one more. You
Yes.
never know. Just
Yes.
one step, one call, one conversation can make a change in your life and somebody's life. So, wow, I am enjoying this. And you're actually honestly and truly, and from the bottom of my heart, Elena, you are unfolding what's within me. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
Because I
thank
know
you.
I have, because I have this, I believe in my calling. I believe too. I'm a very spiritual person. I
Mhm.
believe in God. I believe in calling, in purpose, in living this life to the fullest and just sharing your story, because you never know who is listening that might be blessed.
Yes.
And with just one person that you're able to bless, they can share their story too. They can empower others too. So it's our own way of making this world a better place. And there's no price to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we all have a gift. We all have a gift that we don't know who might benefit from. If you connect if I may, if you really take the time, because journaling and being in silence is actually essential for you to be
Mhm.
able to find your real purpose and your vision of your future. If you really find that space and you connect your heart with your mind and you start writing, things
Mhm.
will unfold beautifully. We've lost the gift of really sitting down and writing what's coming up in our minds. But when we connect it with our heart, a lot of revelation is going to come to you. There's going to be a lot of things that you never thought you could come up with, because we're so distracted by,
Mhm.
all social media and all that. So I highly recommend your audience to find some time and journal. Just anything, start writing.
Yes, and I think that's one tool that we can do, and that sometimes again it's easier said than done, because there are people who don't like journaling, but once you break that and you actually get into it. And I love that what you said, connect with yourself, because I
Mhm.
think if we connect with our inner thoughts and inner feelings and write them out, then we manifest them. The and if our thoughts and our purpose and our calling aligns with the heavens, and everything will just start manifesting. So, oh my God, I know it's already 9:01, but I know it's so exciting. I just love it. I just love how our conversation tonight just went through, and how we learned so much from your beautiful story, Elena. You're so inspiring. It's just so empowering, and I just love it. I learned so much from you tonight, and I bet our viewers really learned a lot from you. And before we close the show, let's see who the winner of our game is. All right, yay, let's see who won. Okay, there you go. Ada Ungria, congratulations. And you know how to claim your prize. Anyway, Elena, thank you so much for sharing your precious time with us tonight. And thank you for boldly sharing your story. And thank you for the life lessons that you have shared to me and to all the viewers. So thank you. And your last words for our viewers?
No, thank you for inviting me to your space and for your audience to listen to what I had to share with you. And it's been a pleasure, actually, MJ. This was a beautiful conversation that I truly enjoyed, and I won't mind coming back.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And I would love to meet you in person. So let's talk again to all our viewers. Thank you for watching us again tonight. And come back Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here at Be Bold. Why not? Good night, everyone. God bless.